Hello there. Hello, everybody. Once again, this is Shrikant Acharya. I'm the CEO and founder of thehomeoffice.in. And welcome to the sixth episode of Office 2.0, the future of work. All right. So this is the sixth episode. And in the last 5 weeks, I've interviewed five people from different professions, from different industries across different segments. And it's been amazing, amazing fun. So the main intent why I am doing this particular series, Office 2.0, is um, we've been thrown into a very, very unexpected situation in the last 3 to 4 months, right? We've been nobody expected COVID to happen. I mean, in the past we've had Ebola, SARS, and a bunch of other things, and swine flu, all kinds of things. And I don't remember life being disrupted the way it is being disrupted right now. And we thought, okay, a week, 15 days, a month, things will settle, but it doesn't look like things are changing. I believe this is the new way of life. This is the way. I mean, it's better we make peace and accept the fact that this is how things are going to be now. But what is this that I'm speaking about? Nobody knows. But in the context of your personal life, it's anybody's guess, right? But we're trying to understand what the future of work might look like. What does it look like for a small and medium business? What does it look like for a tech-based company? What does it look like for a manufacturing and an MSME kind of business? That's what we're trying to understand here. I'm the founder of thehomeoffice.in, and at thehomeoffice.in, our attempt is to make it easier for professionals to be able to work from home more efficiently. If you're a professional who's just started working from home, you'll love the products on our website. Please go visit right away and shop your heart out. Okay, so we are I'm going live from Bangalore, and we are, I don't know, lockdown 1.0, 2.0, 3.0. We've kind of lost track, right? There's lockdown after lockdown, restriction after restriction, things, the rules and regulations keep changing, and there's no clarity anybody has who can work, who cannot work, where you can work from. And this is not just in Bangalore, right? The From city to city, the rules are different, and we really don't know what's going on. It's like we've been thrown into a situation of absolute chaos. And this show here, I'm trying to kind of demystify what the future might look like so that we are better prepared for it. So I'm making an attempt to interview people who have a larger perspective, who are meeting a lot of people, who are able to observe the trends that are happening across different industries and so on. And today I have a very, very interesting guest. Naveen Lakur is a very good friend of mine. I've known him for a few years now, and Naveen Lakur is the founder and chief innovation coach at Institute of Inspiring Innovation. He's been a trainer for a long time, and he's done a lot of workshops and training and events for several large companies, including Dell, Mercedes, Standard Chartered Bank, TCS, and several other companies. Naveen is a serial entrepreneur himself. He's been instrumental in starting a lot of companies, and he's also a mentor and a coach um, to a lot of entrepreneurs, and to me also. And he's also an author. He's published 3 books, and I won't be surprised if he's going to tell you that he's already working on his 4th book. The first book was called Found. The second one was Inseparable Twins, and the third one is called A Little Extra. So help me welcome the extraordinary Naveen Lakur. Hi, Naveen.
Hi,
Welcome
thank you.
to Office 2.0.
Thank you so much, Shrikant, for that wonderful introduction and for setting it up so well. Thank you.
Right, Naveen, welcome. And here's my first question to you. This is the first question I ask anybody who comes to this show. What do you think is the future of work?
Okay. Future of work. Looks like you just now welcomed me to Office 2.0. And
Yes,
the way you welcomed looked like this virtual office that we both are meeting together seemed to be
absolutely.
that 2.0. Two of us getting
Yes,
together virtually seems to be
yes,
that Office 2.0.
yes.
And I'm sure this is going to continue for some time and beyond. See, if I have to uh, stage this in a time frame, there is the BC, which is the before Corona, not the before the Christ. That is gone now. So the new rules have come because 2020 has two zeros in it. So this is this kind of zeroth year, and one is before the corona, and the other is not after the corona. It is going to be after death, right? AD. The AD is either you die or the business dies. Corona is not going to die, so it's going to be there. So but we have to make friends with it, right?
Right.
And at the same time, life won't be this way, lockdown, full life. It's not going to be that way. So there is the mid phase while we are dealing with corona, understanding how we can accommodate it, and whether we like it or not, and how do we find ways of living, and how do we even overcome that. So during this phase, this is the intermediate phase, I would say. Okay.
Hmm.
So there is a lot of reference. Past is history, future is
Yeah.
mystery, today is a gift. That's why today, the present, that's why it's called present, right?
Present.
So
Right.
we have to enjoy this present, what is there,
Yeah.
irrespective of the challenges.
Yeah.
And at the same time, the future, the way I see the future of work, and the Office 2.0 will extend itself into Office 3.0. And the Office 3.0 to me is like, there is used to be this corporate office one,
Yeah.
and
Correct.
which we were all very used to going, sitting, and working in the office.
That
And
was
this
Office 1.0.
1.0, the
Right.
Office 2.0 is like the way we are meeting virtually and from home, right?
Yeah.
So literally, home office becomes the Office 2.0, and this will extend to Office 3.0, because we are social beings as human beings. We
Right.
can't be locked in all the time. We
Correct.
need people interaction, virtual, definitely. Thanks
Yeah.
that corona, usually I was always knowing virus, having come from the software industry. Virus to me was software virus. And
Right.
today, that's the one thing which is safe, and helping us to connect wherever we are. But on the other hand, this coronavirus is infecting the human beings.
Right.
So it is a new kind of virus in a way.
Right.
And the 3.0, as social beings, I see that this extending into a tripod model, where
Right.
you have the corporate office, you have the home office, and near home office is something which is going to evolve.
Right.
And now, if you allow, people want to just rush back to office, and they got stuck, bored, and working from home, and or not working from home, both being there. So they want to rush back, but once they
Right.
go back, because this lockdowns and the restrictions has been for a long period,
Yeah.
once they go back, they will realize the other issues which they had kind of forgotten, of the pains of the
Traffic.
traffic, the productivity loss, or
Yes.
if you look at the kind of comforts being lost, right?
Yeah.
So once they realize, they want the best of all, right?
Yeah.
So the comfort and the togetherness of the home, and with the connectivity, it anyway helps, and the responsibility which comes in, and collaboration which happens in the corporate. So
Right.
the best of the both needs to happen, and the
Right.
socializing, right?
Right.
There will be one more little island which is going to come between the two, called near home office.
Right.
Okay. And the near home office is the one which bridges, and it gives options to people. That's where near home office could be co-working spaces, or corporates might even consider, like
Right.
places like the tier 2 or tier 3 towns or cities. And it could be even, like, for example, in Bangalore, Hosur could be one hub, or
Right.
Jainagar could be one, the co-working place, or
Right.
it could be somewhere North India. But you would be able to engage people. If there is a catchment area, then you will start
Right.
creating that space. So that's going to be near home office. So
I
tripod
think that's
model,
a
which
brilliant
is
idea.
going to come up.
I mean, I love the concept or the idea of Office 3.0. And I believe, if I'm not wrong, Society General was one of my client who told me that they already had apartments that they've taken in different places, and their employees could book meeting rooms or use those apartments to work from places which they're closer to their homes, right? So
Absolutely.
yeah, that sounds interesting. And that, if there's a virtual business, or there is a shared space kind of operator who's watching this, this is great news for you, reach out to Naveen Lakur. I'm sure he has some really innovative ideas on how to take that business forward. Before I ask you the next question, Naveen, the next question I'm going to ask you is about what habits have you formed in the new era, in the post-COVID kind of a situation related to work or related to personal habits. Before I come to that, I want the audience here. We have a good number of people here. Please type in the comments below. What is that habit that you have picked up in the last 3 months? It could be related to work, it could be related to food, it could be related to your fitness, it could be related to the way you learn, the way you do anything, right? So whether you're on YouTube or Facebook, type in the comments below what is that new habit which you have picked up. So I want to ask you, Naveen, is there a new habit? What is the new habit that you picked up in this situation related to work or anything like that?
Actually, this whole COVID thing has been a surprise to everybody, right? And
Correct.
it's impacted all our habits. But some of the habits which I knew were good not to be let go. I didn't want it to lose that habit. I know this phase is one of those phases which is holding us back at home. That
Right.
doesn't mean that I'm not going to go to office at all in my life in the future. So I didn't wanted some of those habits to die,
Right.
and good habits, right? So what I did, created a little place, in my apartment, in my terrace, one small den. I call it a
Okay.
den. It's a small place, so and it grows hot. So I don't have to work very hard to sweat it out. I sweat it out otherwise also now. And but the habit was this, like literally, I go as if I go to office. I carry my bag, okay, every day, and I could go back home, meaning one floor below, without this bag and leaving my computer. But I pack everything back as if I'm going to go back home, and
Right.
in the evening I go back home, and then in the afternoon, when I go for lunch, I know I have to come back to office to my work, right?
Right.
Otherwise it can just draw us inside, maybe sit down and watch a TV, or that feeling of I'm not involved, productive, that should not be there. So some good habits I didn't want it to let go, so I've created a new habit of as if at home, going to home office is like an
Awesome.
activity for me, right?
Right.
And
Right.
discipline is one of the key things which is required, right? So I go to work every day at home. So that's
Awesome.
one habit. The other, I have been as an innovation coach, I've been teaching on innovation enablement. How do you think, come with new ideas? How do you make an idea a reality? And many occasions I would have been giving cooking as an example, which
Okay.
is actually underrated innovation, because there is a process, there is a benefit, and there is creativity, how you present everything, the culinary art, but it's underrated because you do it every day, you don't
Yeah.
care or neither appreciate, right? So
Right.
kind of picked it up, and more than, I mean, now regularly I cook on every Sunday. My breakfast is from my side, and several desserts. And even for our security, now that I can't go out, at least they also are not going home in our
Oh,
apartment complex. So I cook, serve them dishes, and but I cook those as a strategy. What all I teach, I want to practice. So as a strategy, I don't cook anything that my wife cooks, because she's an amazing cook. So I myself will compare, and I'll downgrade my own self. So I didn't want it to do that. So I try new ones. So that's
right.
anyway innovation. Name it, and brand it. All that which is required for innovation or a product, I've been putting it to use. And yeah, now this Sunday, I got an appreciation from my father-in-law and mother-in-law saying, "Wow, this is a fantastic dish. It's different and nice." So,
Right.
some one more habit. So
Awesome.
there's
If
several
only you
I've
could
been
pass that
writing.
through the camera, that would be awesome. All right, so that's a great thought that you put, right? So I think that's a challenge which most people are grappling with. I speak to so many of my clients, and everybody says there is no time anymore. When we used to go to office, it was pretty clear that 6 o'clock we would wind up and go home, and nobody expects us to be responsive. But now we get mails and pings at odd times, and we are expected to respond at any given point of time. I think so. So for all those of you who are watching, I think this is a great strategy. You're closing your bag, you're putting everything in, and mentally you shut off and then do your personal errands. You do whatever it is that gives you joy. So let me take a quick minute to see what are the habits that people have picked up here. I see Sandeep Das Hi Sandeep. He says he's picked up gardening. That's a great habit. Ivan
Wow.
says I have good food habits and fitness goals. Okay, all right, Ivan, that sounds interesting. Ambiti Soumya says walking without walking, marching on the same spot during meetings, which requires me to just hear. Interesting. Then Namita says it's the same habit I follow. I work from my husband's office. Yeah, now that that's Namita is my wife, and she likes to come to my office and work, which is walking distance from our home. Uh, then who else? Somebody else. I'm not able to see the name for some reason. Okay, Sandeep says walking while talking. Naila has a question. We'll come to the question. Shashi says he's doing yoga and cooking and working anytime, like no time limit. Okay, so that's an interesting set of new habits that people have picked up. So you're an innovation coach, right? Okay, sorry, before I get to that, guys, anybody who has questions, please hold on to your questions. We'll come to that in a few more minutes. I'm going to open the forum for any questions that you might have, and please hang on till the end and ask innovative questions, okay? Because the most interesting question is going to get a gift from Naveen. He's going to give a book of his, one of his latest books. Can you show that, Naveen? Yeah, it's called a little extra. He's going to give that a copy with his autograph,
Signed
and I'm going
copy.
to make sure, yeah, signed copy, so that I'm going to make sure that it reaches you. Think of the most innovative question that you have, and hold on, because I'm going to open that up in just a bit. So Naveen, you're an innovation coach. What is the most innovative thing that you've seen happen in the last 3 to 4 months as a reaction to the COVID situation?
There've been many actually. I've been following, especially because of the corona thing, right? On the healthcare, I've been following on the innovations, what is happening and
Right.
what could be the trend, and doing some analysis on that, how it could impact. There's a lot happening on the innovation in the healthcare itself.
Healthcare segment.
One
Okay.
side, one extreme is on the vaccine side, how do we literally prevent, right? On the other side, on the prevention side, there is a process innovation happening, very
Okay.
interesting here, even including how this is the first time in the history, probably, all the government officials, starting from the ministers to the policemen to the corporation executives, to everybody is working like anything, crazily working, right? Never it has happened this way. So they've all been put to test, and they are all doing their best, right?
Right.
So that's the good part, and congratulations to them, and our heartfelt
Yeah.
there is a lot of innovation even on the process side. If you look at how uh, beautiful structures have come together, 10,100 people capacity to treat COVID in Bangalore, which is the
Yeah, you
world's
see.
largest,
Yeah.
being established. To in Delhi, I saw in 1 week how they established 10,000 beds. So in the process side also, there is a lot of innovation happening. And
Mm.
the beds, if you look at how the cartoon the papers have been used to create bed which can be disposed, and it will you don't have to worry about the trash which is going to get created the post COVID, right?
Right.
So how you quickly assemble. So there is innovation there, and
Yeah.
including these little dispensers which is happening. I used to wonder earlier, when I used to go to MTR hotel, that's the only hotel in a restaurant which had this pedal, the tap where
Yeah. Yeah.
you pedal and then the water dispenses you. Now you see every office has got the dispenser of that
Sanit.
kind,
Yeah. Yeah.
and there is innovation there. And
Yeah.
so there's the way we do things is all getting changed so much. And
Right.
so innovation itself is not as complex as what people would think. So it's the mindset which is required to
Right.
be open and to try new things, right? So
Right.
yeah.
Right. Absolutely. I think that those are some great references. So guys, any of you have a question? The most interesting and the most innovative question will get you that book signed by Naveen Lakur. So please type in your questions now, and I'm going to present them to Naveen in a bit. So Naveen, it's very clear you're very positive about the healthcare industry. You mentioned something about the co-working spaces are likely to get into a boom again. What other industries or what other trends are you seeing that you think these are the businesses of the future.
Actually, see, organizations
Okay, I think there's a power cut at Naveen's place. That's what I would guess. So he's frozen. Let's wait for him to come back. In the meanwhile, share your questions. Any questions that you have that you want to ask related to working from home, related to the future of office, related to business, related to innovation, anything you can ask. So while in the meantime that he comes back. I want to share with you some of the innovative things that I've seen happening at a very, very small level. Now, one of the things it's important for us to note and understand is that we feel innovation is too complex. It's not. Innovation feels too complex because we confuse it for invention. Invention might be complex because it needs you to hold a certain technical skill and those kind of things, right? But innovation can be done by anybody. I've seen happening at I mean, I'm sure all of us have noticed this. You have the people who sell vegetables on carts. They're starting to use speakers to be able to market and to be able to reach out to you. There's a lot of people who are selling masks and sanitizers and all of these kind of things. That's an opportunity that's coming up. And the education industry is going through a big disruption, right? So we've become comfortable with our kids studying from home, doing your homework. I mean, there used to be a time where you'd say you don't want to give mobile phone to your kids and keep them away, keep them to books. Now you just want to make sure they have a good mobile phone or a good um laptop with good internet connectivity and so on. So things are changing at such a rapid pace right now. And the most obvious thing, work is happening from home and the productivity. I don't hear too many people complaining that there's a drop in productivity. I think Naveen is joined back. Let's see if he's Naveen. Are you back? Your screen is frozen, Naveen. I'm not sure.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes, I can hear you. Actually, your voice is cracking up. Your screen is freezing. Okay, there seems to be some connectivity issue at Naveen's place. It's raining in Bangalore, and maybe because of that, there's a drop in internet, or maybe there's a power cut or something like that. So while we're at it, and while Naveen comes back, let me make a quick plug into one of our products that helps for exactly these kind of situations. We have calls like this all day long, and it's very, very frustrating when somebody loses connectivity, and that's a huge productivity dampener, right? So there is a product called a Wi-Fi router UPS, which is like a small power bank which sits between the Wi-Fi router and the wall plug, and it makes sure your router never goes off, and it gives 4 hours backup to your Wi-Fi router to make sure you have Wi-Fi whether you have power or not. So sorry about that shameless plugin, but it's a great product, and if you are working long hours, that is something that you absolutely must have. Okay, so let's wait for Naveen to join back. In the meanwhile, please do type in your questions. Whatever you have to ask, ask the most innovative question right there, and let's see if that catches Naveen's interest. Naveen, I can see you're back on screen. Can you speak? Let's see if we have the connectivity.
Yeah, sure. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you all right.
Okay.
So go ahead. You can tell
Okay.
us about.
Fine.
You were speaking about some of the most innovative changes that you see.
Yes, I think industry-wise, when you're talking about one of it, we just now saw a challenge, right? This is the challenge which we will go through of connectivity when we are going to overly depend on it. And if the home office has to be functioning better, then
Yeah.
the connectivity has to improve. And thank God that we are all connected. It's the global model now, right? We went global quite a bit, and now suddenly we are so local. But
Yeah.
because of connectivity, we are both global and local. So your question was also on, which are the industries or
Industries.
segments
Yes.
that I see that
Yes.
could grow, right? One is
Correct.
definitely technology. If you see the need for more connectivity, better connectivity, and making us more productive,
Yeah.
remotely working, robotics, all of these are going to flourish, right?
Right.
Because of this phase, there could be some industries which are affected, like travel. If you look at food as an industry in terms of dining and fine dining, all of those are shut now. But that is
Right.
temporary. But how do we cope up during that time is more important.
Right.
Can we stay and can we survive is very important. Doesn't mean that that industry is not going to come back at all. But when it comes back, the game will be very different. The way it
Right.
is played is very different. The rules are very different.
Right.
And some industries are getting higher visibility, like healthcare, because
Right.
everybody is conscious about it. And the but sustainability is the key. So typically, including the travel, when the travel starts. But what is important then would be the innovation for the companies, for the businesses. What is the new way of doing? How are they going to bring that change? So that
Right.
will matter. And in
Right.
fact, in MSME, when the lockdown started, so I was invited on one of the Lagu Udyog Bharati organized and startup network at organized sessions. In one of those sessions, in the early days of lockdown, they asked me, this when I was talking about how you utilize your time during this lockdown. One, either if you know your industry, your business that is going to be functional soon, no issues, then during this break, clear some backlog. Second is that, or you learn some new skill. When you get back into the game, the rules of the
Right.
game would have changed. Can
Yeah.
you cope with that?
Right.
Third is create something new, repurpose yourself such that you could play the game even today. So
Right.
they asked me a question saying, give
Okay.
an example. We are all crying. We locked down, shut down. Can you give an example of repurposing?
Right.
So I was telling them in a repurpose, say, for example, if you are into a mask manufacturing or medical device manufacturing or anything like that, understand the properties of COVID, make the necessary changes. Ultimately, what is innovation? Innovation is about doing something better, making something better, or doing something different, or creating something new. As simple
Mm.
as that. So repurposing, if you take these qualities and see how you can make a mask better so that it is useful for COVID
Yeah.
related. So you are in business and in demand, because not just that,
Yeah.
locally, this is required worldwide.
Right.
Second, I was giving an example of, imagine if you are an inner garment factory manufacturing the inner garments, and if the women bra has two cones, and if you can reimagine, it becomes two masks. All the
Yeah.
material is there, and if you really look at the material is already proven for skin, and if you also look at the raw materials are there, know-how is there, and
Yeah.
rather than being shut down, now you are in business.
Yeah.
So some of them thanked, and they could reopen their factory because they got clearance, because it became essential, right?
Right. Right.
And the third, I'm sure you would love this, because I know you are a trekker, you love traveling, and then
Yes.
you also are a sports guy. So just imagine, and a bike rider. So just imagine if you're a manufacturing of a helmet company, and now shut down, nobody is
Uh,
even traveling, so it's all shut, right? So, and just imagine that raincoat and then helmet being integrated, full face helmet, you are
right.
actually back in business, because it acts
Right.
like a PPE for the current situation which is required.
Right.
Or if it is a sports company, the helmet, which is a high intensity helmet with the poncho which we use for trekking, right? And
Mm.
weather conditions, it knows nothing sticks on it, just rolls off. A
Right.
PPE. So you're back in business. Some of them in
Right.
Tirupur and all, they reopened after
Yeah.
listening to these kind of possibilities. So you
Right.
need to reimagine, and you are in business. So can you pivot? Can we
Yeah.
repurpose ourselves, right? So there is
Absolutely.
opportunities. It's all about, all industries has, which in this phase, how are you utilizing your time?
Right.
Repurpose or reimagine, reskill yourself so that you are relevant when it opens. And
Right.
or you are either, you are dead or the business is dead. Corona is not going to die.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Perfect. We have some really interesting questions. So let me read out some of them to you. First one I want to read out is Naila's question. She asked, what is the future of internships and fresher positions in a work from home scenario?" I think that's a very,
Uh,
very relevant question, and I think that's something that should be running in a lot of people's minds.
Fantastic. I really appreciate that question. Thanks to that question, because see, there is a phenomenal opportunity. If at all these students, interns, they also develop a little entrepreneurial mindset.
Right.
Okay, because when
Mm.
you're working from home, you don't have access. You need to have that qualities and skill sets, like including the mindset of an entrepreneur, where nobody is watching you, yet you need to be productive,
Yeah.
right? That is an entrepreneur. And
Right.
no boss is telling you or watching you. If you're doing that, then that is ordinary. You are doing because you need to get something done, that is extraordinary. So
Correct.
here, these interns actually today, they are more comfortable when it comes to technology than the seasoned business people, be it MSMEs or the large corporates. They all need new way of thinking, new
Yeah.
way of. So the
Yes.
interns here, if they develop that skill, because they are, it comes natural to them using digital devices, being
Yeah.
connected. It's just that take initiatives and make proposals to say, I can do this, or do
Yeah.
something and show what you can do.
Right.
You will be in demand. Actually, a
Yeah.
lot of interns would be very useful during this time. Especially, they can be the bridge between the current phase and the future. They can ride that wave too. So I
Right.
see it as a phenomenal opportunity. If only you can be
Absolutely.
that little extra, take
Yeah.
that steps and contribute.
Absolutely. Agree with you. I think that's a brilliant question and a great answer. The next question I want to read out is from Prajit Kadambi, who says, "What is the definition of innovation? Can Indian jugaad be considered as innovation?" I ask this so that employees in a company can develop a shared vision and approach it with a common understanding. So let's simplify that question. Can Indian jugaad be considered as innovation?
Uh, it is. Indian Jugaad is very useful for us. Okay, in terms of it is innovation, but it is more of that incremental. The challenge with the Jugaad is that it is not scalable.
It's not scalable. Mm. Okay. I think we lost Naveen one more time. Let's wait for a minute or so before he comes back and wait for his answer. So, in case you evaluate, here's my answer to what I think Indian Jugaad is. I think Indian Jugaad is very useful. The difference between innovation and Indian Jugaad is that I think, and this is a personal opinion, Indian Jugaad is generally very reactive in nature, and generally innovation, what we speak about, is generally proactive in nature. What I mean by that is you see that there is an opportunity to get into some kind of a business or come up with some solution or something, and that's where you implement innovation. That's innovation that we generally make a reference to. But jugaad is something like, oh, the pipe is broken, what do? We'll come up with something quick and we'll fix that solution, right? So that is jugaad. It works, it's fine. But what Naveen was speaking about, and when he was saying it's not scalable, is because it's very reactive in nature, and it's quick, it's temporary, and that's why it's probably not scalable. So that's my take on jugaad versus innovation. Okay, so looks like Naveen is able to join back. Let's wait for a minute. And we have Ambiti Soumya, who says, "How do you stay relevant for a future world?" I'm sure you want to listen to the answer from Naveen. We hope he'll be back in a minute and he'll be able to answer that. But here's what my take is about that. And this question, this particular question, what you're speaking about, what is the skill that is required, that is going to be most valued in the coming days, weeks, and months? I've asked this question to almost everybody I've interviewed, and the common answer is, one is improving your digital skills. It could be using technology better, learning quicker, using all the digital tools, whichever your skills are, to be able to use that much better. And the second is being able to communicate and present yourself well when you're not in front of the person. We're typically used to having conversations face to face, in person kind of meetings. But I think if you're able to have communications like this, if you're able to present yourself very well in through a virtual meeting, I think that's going to be a very, very valuable skill. uh, I'm not sure. Naveen still seems to be having some challenges, and I'll read out one more question that is there from Sandhya. Sandhya asks, bringing work into home, especially if it's for the first time, especially now, confuses all of this. How do we manage it? Okay, that's a tricky question, and I'm not sure if there's a clear answer to that. But I think one of the things which Naveen said about, get dressed, get ready for work, and you have a dedicated place where you go sit and work. Right? If you mix up, sometimes you're sitting on your bed and working, sometimes you're sitting in front of the TV and working, sometimes on the dining hall and working, and sometimes if you have it designated. So if you're mixing all of these things up, I think it's going to be very challenging and very confusing. But if you train your mind saying, it doesn't matter whether we're in lockdown or not, I am going to go have bath and come back. And okay, Naveen is back, so let me just add him. Okay, Naveen, we missed you, and on your behalf I started answering some questions, so I'll leave
Actually,
this.
I was hear you. I was able to hear you well. So your answers were bang on. So fantastic it was.
All right, this is my sixth interview, so at least I know how to, I can at least reiterate the answers that others have given me. All right, so I'll allow you to
Yeah.
answer this question, which Sandhya has. She asks, bringing work into home can be confusing. How to handle such a situation?
Bringing work into home. Okay. Can be confusing. Yes, it can be, because unless if we know what exactly is work. See, if you ask an entrepreneur that question, if I wear my hat as an entrepreneur, we do not discriminate work and life as two separate things. We don't have the
Yeah,
problem of balancing it. It's both. So that way, work is life is work. So we have no problem. But on the other side, if we don't know how to discriminate, and need is there to discriminate, it is important. Define it, and the discipline is very essential. For example, I was telling how I conduct myself during this time of working from
yeah,
home. Means I go to my home office, sit down, carry my bag, and I've defined it. Evening when I come back, I'm turned off unless there is a need. Yes, need would always be there. If there is, attend. But otherwise, I know I've oriented. My
yeah,
productivity is much higher because of the discipline, I would say. And at the same time, say for example, Sunday, it's a conscious effort that I don't go to that home office. Sundays I'm not going there. I want to cook. I want to probably spend some time doing other things other than the main work. So it's the discipline which is required, ability to discriminate that
yeah.
work and what is not work,
Right.
right? Otherwise we are all in work something or the other. I assume that you are saying office work, your
Yeah,
office work. And if so, define it. And once you follow that discipline, others will also respect and respond
yeah.
accordingly. So it will happen. So it's important that these two traits will have to develop: the discipline and the ability to discriminate.
Perfect. I think that's a brilliant answer. So we've come to the end of this session. We've stretched a little beyond that we would generally take. So Naveen, I want you to pick who you're going to give that book to. So everybody who's attended, thank you so much. First of all, we had a good participation here. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you saw value in that. And as a small token of appreciation for you being here, we have a small gift. There is you can go to thehomeoffice.in and shop and use the gift voucher Naveen 250. I've just put it on the comment section there. Naveen, Naveen, 250, and get a 250 rupees discount on anything that you can shop. And Naveen is going to gift that book a little extra to somebody among. I have four questions from here, Naveen. Which one do you want to give it out to? There is Naila, who asked, what is the
You
future of
answered two of
internship?
them actually.
Yeah, so I already have your book, but I know you want to give it to me, but you can give it to somebody else. Okay, so it's
No,
either
no,
Naila
it's for you to choose.
for me to choose. Okay,
It's for
okay,
you to choose which is the best question. Yeah, because
okay,
you answered two of them.
okay. So there's Naila who asked
Who
about
gets
the
this?
future of internship. One. There is uh, Prajit Kadambi who asked about definition of innovation versus jugaad.
Jugaad.
There is Sandhya who spoke
Jugaad.
about, what's it? It could be quite confusing to work from home. How do you manage that? And there is
Yes.
Soumya who said how to stay relevant for the future. What do you think? Who do you think should get the book?
I see. If I have to choose, the very first one is an internship, right? You know that
Yeah,
uh, that's the talent I think we want to nurture, and if they understand what they can contribute,
yeah,
there would be a phenomenal difference in the future in the world. So I would go with that young
awesome.
person who, as an intern, want to do something, and uh, and we need such people in the office, working from
Right,
home office. That's the best
right,
part, right? So they have to experience the home office working.
right.
So as
Absolutely.
interns, so let them.
Perfect.
And this
Congratulations,
goes.
Soumya. That book with Naveen Lakpur's signature is all yours. I'll make sure we get in, we reach it to
I
you.
thought the intern the question was from who was that?
Naila. What did
The
I
first
say?
question.
Yeah, Naila,
Yeah,
Naila.
you said Soumya now. So
Oh,
okay,
sorry. I'm
the
really
first one.
sorry. Naila. So Naila Saldana, that book
Naila
is
will
yours. I'll
get
make
this.
sure it reaches you. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you very much for your time, Naveen. It was great fun and very, very refreshing. I love the concept about Office 3.0 that you shared, and probably the next season of this series is going to be called Office 3.0. So thank you so much for taking time. I hope you had a
Making of
good
it.
time.
Thank you so much, and you're doing a great job, Shrikant, bringing this energy and this liveliness and creating that future which is required, 2.0 or even beyond. So, best wishes for what you're doing.
Thank you so much, and thanks everybody for joining. See you again on next Friday. Bye bye.